Alright guys, this is another reminder to take your assets, your crypto assets off of centralized exchanges. Definitely don't keep them on centralized exchanges, particularly in the current market conditions, guys. I feel like we are heading towards a supply shock, a supply shortage. We know that, and this is, I'm talking about for Bitcoin in particular, and possibly other assets as well, other leading alts as well. We're heading into an institutional run, guys. We already saw what that did when the ETFs went parabolic last year, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 126k. Obviously things are ranging at the moment, and it's probably sentiment-wise and volume-wise probably the worst weeks that we've seen since things like the FTX collapse and COVID, right? So things are not great, but what sometimes happens and what history tells us happens often when we bottom out is that we do see that recovery. And given what's been going on in other financial markets over the last few months, obviously precious metals and what's been happening with the stock market, seems very strange that crypto hasn't had its run yet. So it is relevant, guys. We are looking at a lot of things. The macro setup could not be more bullish for 2026. And I'm not going to go into all of that in this video, but it was just another reminder because I saw Crypto Casey talking about this on her YouTube again, and it made me think I really need to just keep reminding people about this. If we have a supply shock, what will happen is that in order to protect themselves, the exchanges may need to stop, people taking their crypto off the exchange or whatever, all sorts of things. You just don't know what can happen, guys. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but you need to be protecting your assets, and the way that you do that is through self-custody, because the thing about having your coins on an exchange is that what will happen is that your coins are kept in the wallet that is controlled and managed by the exchange. You are not managing that wallet, so that means that you're not controlling it. So it's really important to understand self-custody is where you actually have the keys, the seed phrase, and there's an expression, not your keys, not your crypto. So guys, I am going to keep making videos like this. I'm going to keep making them every day to remind you to not hold your assets all on centralized exchanges. And also, if you are using wallets, just make sure you have your distribution among 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or however many wallets, right, just to spread that risk. Okay, now what I do recommend, and I am going to create some more content on this, is a cold storage wallet.